The eternal damnation of Chaos Space Marines after the Horus Heresy was a saddening sight to behold. While many of these warriors were twisted by the corruption of chaos, others had it much, much worse. They were possessed by demons and mutated into horrific abominations. Such was the case for the once great warrior Delvaris of the World Eaters Traitor Legion. And with that said, I want to welcome you guys back to another 40 Facts about the 40K universe. I am your host, Gersh1, and today we're going to have a quick little lore video on the World Eater known as Delvaris. And if you enjoy these types of videos, hit the thumbs up button, share with your friends, and do all that stuff that YouTube wants you to do so that you can keep getting 40K lore videos in your feed. But with all that said, let's get into 40 Facts on Delvaris. Battle Brother Delvaris was born on the jungle world of Novis Principa, which was conquered by the World Eaters Legion in the early decades of the Great Crusade. He quickly gained a reputation as a formidable fighter and eventually became undefeated in the Legion's fighting pits. As a matter of fact, he was paired with Sigismund of the Imperial Fists, and the pair won every fight to first blood in less than half a minute. That's how powerful of a close combat fighter he was. Delvaris was one of the few World Eaters not to shave his head. The discomfort of hair in his helm was irrelevant. He'd never cut his long black locks. This may have been a habit derived from his former culture. In the fighting pits, he always wore it loose. His dark skin marked his genesis in the jungles of whatever world he once called home. This showcased how no legion except the Ultramarines was as diverse as the World Eaters, colored by so many shades of skin from so many different worlds, reflecting a diversity of flesh overruled by the bonds of brotherhood. During the infamous Genna massacre, most of Delvaris' squad was wiped out by the Gennan robotic simulacrum, including his commander, Captain Barca. Though a mere sergeant, Delvaris was able to hold his own against the numberless hordes of the enemy. This elevated Delvaris to command the 44th Company, as well as the Triari, 5 elite companies of the World Eaters' finest shipboard warriors that excelled in void warfare and boarding actions far beyond traditional Legion training. All had sworn to defend the flagship Conqueror. However, after an unsanctioned planetary drop that left the Conqueror exposed to enemy borders comprised of Ultramarines above the war world of Armatura during the Shadow Crusade, Delvaris was shot by the flagship's mortal captain, Lotara Sarin, and then confined to his quarters. When he was finally released, he was forced to fight 26 blood duels in the Legion's fighting pits, contrary to the normal limit of 8 pit fights, before being humiliated when the apothecary Cargos the Bloodspitter spared his life in a sanguinis extremis duel. When the Legion finally succumbed to the full corruption of the blood god Khorne, Delvaris' humiliation continued as he was possessed by a demon, twisting his body into a horrific abomination with massive bat-like wings and a crown of thorns. As a possessed heretical Astarte, Delvaris' senses became demonically heightened to the point where he was able to track any prey across both the material realm and the warp. He became a relentless hunter, carving a bloody path wherever he went. He then led the Riven, a brutal Chaos warband comprised entirely of second-born possessed Chaos Space Marines just like himself. After the defeat of Horus in the Great Scouring, both he and the Riven later joined the Black Legion, and they became the guardians of Abaddon's flagship, the Vengeful Spirit. Delvaris met his fate during the First Black Crusade, when he was killed during the First Battle of Cadia by a prominent Death Guard Chaos Sorcerer during a boarding action aboard the Vengeful Spirit. And that is the lore of the World Eater Chaos Space Marine Delvaris. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk tomorrow. This is Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate signing out.
Always used to put my freedom first in any